Boom! I guess we're live. I don't necessarily know because there's a circles. Maybe we're live now. I don't know. There was a circle 7 seconds ago. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Someone will jump on and say, I can hear you. It looks good from here. Quarantine, lockdown, whatever word you want to use. Hair, don't care. Cut it myself. It's weird. The hand motions are opposite of the camera. Anyway, hello to watching. Welcome to the party. I need to do this more often. I don't know why. That's probably not accurate. I do know why, because I like to hide. But I'm coming out. Here I am in all my personal hair cut glory. So my thought here is to shave the sides and the back, and because I'm an old man now at 46, feeling young, but old, as far as what hair likes to do and how quick it likes to grow or thick or whatever. So I left this and I'm like, this will catch up to this, whatever. I'll wear a hat. And I was even going to wear a hat for this, but said, no, here I am in all of my transparent glory. So if you can hear me, great. If you can't, that sucks. But the title of this, all caps. Thanks, Tristan. Back at you, all caps, with an aloha, 3 exclamation points, which means hello and goodbye. Don't leave, but when you do have to leave, if I don't see you leave, fare thee well. But thanks for joining. The title of the live broadcast and why I decided to jump on here prior to the event I'll be hosting this Sunday is The Journey to Funny, Patreon and stuff, which is pretty much what I'll be doing Sunday. But for those of you that can't attend, figured I'd take this moment. I have a few calls scheduled today, appointments that I have to get to. But I have this little window here where I poured myself a yummy cup of chaga and yerba mate combined tea. For those of you in the unaware of what chaga is, it is a beautiful medicinal mushroom that grows on some really beautiful trees, mostly in Canada, but I think sprinkled throughout the world as well. And look it up, chaga. I'm not impressing my personal agenda, healing or otherwise, upon the audience, but it's wonderful for me, and I love the yerba mate. I've never had them together, so here we go. Pinky's extended. That feels like a rocket ship about to happen inside my body, cooling the flames and taking me into orbit. So, Tristan, I'm assuming you can hear me. Check. 121379er. Yeah, we'll just go with yes. So, The Journey to Funny. Wow, already up to 152. That's 152 subscribers. So grateful, beyond words, but I'll try to spit some out. Thank you. 152,000 times. Thank you. Yes, John, look up here. The camera's up here, not at yourself. Still learning this thing. And so grateful for the subscribers. I mean, I rarely subscribe to things. I know what I like and I go search them. So for people that actually take the time, even though it doesn't take much time to hit subscribe. Oh, and what I've learned is there's a little gray bell that you can hit too. That means that you've signed up for notifications. So if any of you want to do that, that's a whole nother step and commitment. I get it, but it lets you know via email or otherwise that John Pepe Comedy has released another video. And hopefully it's taken another step toward funny. What I'm learning is immeasurable. Another thing I can't really put into words, but I'll try. So here we go. I've said this before, but talking to a laptop is really difficult. There's nobody behind this laptop. Maybe I need some fake cardboard cutouts or whatever. So funny is one thing, and writing something funny is another thing. But performing funny with no back and forth energy, that's a whole dance that I'm learning to do. And I don't know if I have to pretend that people are there. I don't know how you tap into a fake energy. But working on it. And maybe for me personally, as I learn, What many of you have, thank you, Tristan. What many of you have gently guided me to do is get up on stage, man. Start going to open mics. Start, doing this. And I've been in that scene. I've supported that scene. I've hosted in that scene for, my poetry pals. In Atlanta, I did a multimedia open mic that I hosted at Barnes and Noble. That was really fun and inspiring, and such a great community event for the short time I was able to do it, but it was still fire. And that was acoustic musicians, poets, comedians, whatever. So even though I appreciate that advice, and I'm always open to it, I'm one of those. I think most of you that know me know that I'm open for unsolicited advice. I don't feel that any of us should give anybody else unsolicited advice because it can be annoying to most people. But for me in this journey and as an artist in the period of time where I'm at right now, I love it. So give it to me. Funny ideas, topics to talk about. Hey, I was on your Patreon page, and we'll get to that. I noticed this. Have you ever thought of doing that? I'm open. Bring it. Love it. Hey, Kayla, where is your little butterfly coming from? What part of the world are you currently residing? Are you still in the clouds? Let us know. Inquiring minds would like to know. I hope you are well. And hola back at you. So where the heck was I? This is why I love and loathe live, because I just get scattered all over the place. But we'll Pulp Fiction it and come back around to subjects and themes. So Patreon. Yeah, let's jump over to that. So Patreon, Northern Ontario. Whoa, you are nowhere near where you used to be. That's exciting and interesting. My gosh, how's the weather up there? It's glorious here in Orlando right now. It's shocking this time of year. I just took a Kehoe to work, and as I got into the car expecting to open the front door and get hit with that humid wave of whoa in this merry month of May, it was quite the opposite. Which if you're in Central Florida, today's the day to get outside, garden, walk. I mean, every day is, but wow, the majesty out there is glorious. Hit it hard. Suck in that, as Ralph Smart would say, good ass prana. Slow motion, right or left, depending on which way this screen is going. I think that's what he does. Something like that. Just watched an interview that he did with Teal Swan. That was fun. 2-hour-long interview, I think it was. Epic. Haven't watched it all yet, but something to dive into deeply. That wasn't funny. But those of you know what I was trying to do there unsuccessfully. Back to Kayla. You two, wishing you well too. Where are you? Just covered that. O-Town, town. I've been here since 1991. And except for a short period of time where I sought greener pastures in the world of Atlanta, the outskirts of Atlanta, if you will. And that was fun. Met some great people, lifetime friend connections, and learned a lot, grew a lot. But it was time to come back to Orlando after that 5-year period and settle back into this place because we just missed so many things and people, family, stuff like that. So yeah, gosh, most of my adult life here in Orlando. 25, how many years is that now? It's a lot of years. So, okay, jumping. Let me make sure I don't miss any of this chat over here. Oh gosh, there's more. Ricky! Man, we only danced for a short while. But it was fun, and I miss our tango. Hope to see you again soon, somewhere around our town, and I hope you are doing well. Kayla says, woke up to snow, and it was spring yesterday. Nice. My trip to Canada and to see the Northern Lights with my brother was that's the best. It was so good. Wasn't on my bucket list, but everyone should. I don't typically push agendas, but put it on your bucket list if it's not on it. Wasn't on mine. It was on his. He's like, you want to go on a trip? Brother trip, my treat. Saying all the right things. Okay, let's go to Canada where cannabis is legal and Northern Lights. All right. All expenses paid. Sure, let's go. Twist my arm. And we went, and man, aside from bonding with my brother for the first time in like all of our lives, really, like being able to spend that much time together, just brother to brother, no distractions, just us and the road and the snow and the lights that weren't supposed to come out because we didn't go during the season, but they came out, and what a gift that was. So, yeah, go see the Northern Lights. Doesn't have to be in Canada. We went to a little town called Yellowknife, which is in the northernmost territory of Canada, and we drove there because my brother thought that would be fun. Not knowing we could fly into that town as we finally pulled in after our 17-hour epic drive from Edmonton. And I was like, dude, are you kidding me? And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, we just passed an airport. And he's like, yeah, so? And I'm like, why did we drive here through the snow and the car crashes and all the chaos? Because it was, snow and ice and sleet and black ice on the highway. It was nuts. Now, he was in his glory. He loves that stuff. So I let him do most of the driving, which was fine. But he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the airport. We could have landed right here. And he's like, it wouldn't have been a brother trip. Come on. He's right. And we got to see some awesome stuff along the way. A coyote eating a bison on the side of the road. Some waterfalls that I got to pretty much step on the precipice of death's door, and that energy, and just like there was no Niagara Falls situation where it was like gates and safety. It was like, oh geez, one wrong step and I'm dead, right? But just filled with that adrenaline and power. Oh my gosh, it was so inspiring and beautiful, bro time. Ricky, thank you. Received. Where you at? What are you doing? Send me a message if you don't want to share it on here. I hope you two are well. Kayla used to live in Vero Beach. What? I grew up close to Vero Beach, down south a little bit for a while. Martin, St. Lucie County. So you know what I'm talking about. Man, our paths have interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, 11 to 13. That's the age that I was in that area too, middle school and high school. And we played Vero Beach a lot. They were adversaries on the soccer pitch, the baseball field, et cetera, et cetera. And always good teams too. But yes. Kayla, I'm reminded of that awesome picture that we got to take at the animal sanctuary. It's one of my, like in all my life, right? Like I've taken so many pictures with people, of people, myself, whatever. And that was such a great picture. Just like the looking up, and we were talking about the spiders or whatever. So yeah, it was great picture. Yes, our pass. Truly. You have family in Yellowknife? Stop it. That's just insane. Back to Patreon. Okay. Because this was the reason but this is why I love live. And yeah, keep the comments rolling. 4 on. Who are the others? It's weird that I don't get to see who the others are. I've got Kayla. I've got Ricky, Tristan. Who's the 4th, 5th now? Oh my gosh, it's going viral. What is the secret to going viral? One day, folks, I promise I will crack it. I'll make one funny thing accidentally, and that'll be the thing. I'll fall on my ass, or some cat will jump on my face during one of these recordings, and that'll be the thing that finally helps me push it over the edge, right? So Patreon, I've fallen in love. Okay, so much like my videos, this is where I was headed earlier. Okay, Pulp Fiction. I write really long. I've been accused my whole life, and will probably continue to be, of using 15 words where I can use 3. Instead of 2 sentences, it's a page. So my posts are really long. My videos subsequently are not the 3 minutes that my daughter has challenged me to keep them at, because that is the typical attention span of most of the world right now, in order to get people to spend a little bit of time. You got to hook them fast and end it quickly. My 15 or 20-minute videos aren't very delectable from afar. Like, oh, do I really want to jump into that? I mean, I don't even know this guy. What is he doing? 15 minutes is like a lifetime online. Oh, okay, play. Oh, it's not funny off the bat. Bye-bye. So, and I'm a storyteller, as either you know or don't know or coming to find out. So I'm working on it. Not that I'm changing my style or anything. I'm just learning and loving it. Patreon. I'm going to get there. So fallen in love with this platform because of where I've gotten at this point in my life. And that is what I was saying is for those of you that don't want to read the long post or haven't read the long post or see the long post and get terrified and scroll more quickly through your feed. And I don't know, this is a super long live video, so I don't even know if this makes sense, but let's bring it up. I'm going to do shorter lives. I'm just working stuff out here because as easy it may seem for me to be on live, it's not. It's like hosting an open mic all over again. It's like jumping up on stage and going, okay, people want to be entertained, or they're not going to chime in, or they're not going to, stay connected. Juliana, yes. If you can't make Sunday, I'm glad you're here now. So I'll talk about as much as I can. That will be going on Sunday. Welcome. The spiders, the golden orb weaving spiders. I think that's what they were called, Kayla. Yeah. So, resist. I'm going to get back to your resistance viral thing. That's a really, really good point. Patreon. So as I worked out, got rid of the how in my life, right? Like really sage advice for some sage people. And eventually I listened because I am the king or one of the kings of resistance. Oh my gosh. It just made sense to abandon everything because nothing was working. And so not focus on how I'm going to make this money and it was really neat because sitting in Costa Rica, doing some beautiful volunteer work. For those of you that know, for those of you that don't, maybe next time we sit and talk, I'll let you know all about that interesting world. So doing some beautiful work in Costa Rica, surrounded by amazing people, inspiring, smart, connected, aware, bright people. Head on the hand on the head, elbow on the table. Just they're like, what are you doing? What are you trying to work out? What's going on in your world right now? And it was, my partner. Eventually, she wants to not do what she's doing. She's done it for a long time. It's really exhausting work. She wants to do other things in her life, pursue her passions, and have me. She's supported me for years now in trying to figure out what it is I want to do, And there's the what. And I couldn't, and a lot of people ask me, oh, you figured out your what? How did you get to the what? Because I'm having trouble figuring out the what is. Take your time. I'm 46. I'm just now figured it out. Has it been there all along? The frustrating thing is, yes, it's always been there, but I've been terrified of it. Or, if not feeling worthy of it. Or. But it's there. Just listen. And if it's not, it'll get there by allowing yourself to just bloom and become and be. And that's what this really crazy, interesting time has given us all. This blessing in disguise is the time to just sit and be. No distractions, things that we're forced to do or we feel we have to do have all been pushed to the wayside. And yes, we can jump on Netflix and do all these other things and smoke to this and drink to that and distract ourselves in those ways. But for those of us that decide to say, fuck it, that wasn't working then, it's not going to work now, let me just be and see if it comes to me, it's a beautiful gift because it usually does. And if it doesn't, just be patient. And stop trying to figure out the how I'm going to figure out what it is. See, how am I going to figure out what it is? You just said the word how, so you've damned yourself. So sitting at that table, I'm like, man, how am I going to make $10,000 a month? I'm not saying that's what she makes or that's what she doesn't make, but, for me in my world, rent here at my place is $2,000 a month, right? Just for rent here. That doesn't include her office, our utilities here, the utilities there, insurance, food, blah, 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 blah. I would like to travel. Yeah. So I put in number 10,000. How am I going to make $10,000 a month to step fully into my divine masculine and support my woman and my family and give her the things that she needs to spread her wings and fly and feel free and encapsulated with safety and comfort and a foundation of unconditional love and presence? How am I going to do all of these things that I haven't been able to do for myself? Rubbing my head. And just through doing what I said and being persistent and relentless about allowing it to come to me, it came in the most beautiful ways through the most beautiful people. People reminding me, you're so fun. I did a podcast, and they're like, I was like, hey, what do you think of the podcast? And they're like, oh, it's cool, but just remember, man, you've always been a really funny guy. Don't abandon who you are. And I'm like, okay, I'm not funny. And I wasn't funny in the podcast. It was very serious. And I enjoy the podcast. I love the podcast. But there was something missing. And the missing was allowing myself to really be that kid again. And the kid in me loved watching stand-up comedy and comics. And not that I wanted to be a stand-up comic. Maybe I wanted to be an actor. Maybe I wanted to make movies or write movies. I don't know. But the power of making a room laugh or an individual laugh, and it was something that came easy for me, and I loved it. And I abandoned it because so many people, oh, how do you know how many people make it? How are you going to support yourself or your family being a college? And so Pulp Fiction, coming back to that other part of the story where people say go open mics and do this thing, because I'm talking about how I have a hard time with the laptop and I don't have the right equipment to capture sharp, and I've created this little makeshift stage. It's steps. It's the journey to funny. But I don't want to go out to clubs right now. I don't want to do open mics or be at bars late night. I want to be at home with my partner. I want to provide for her in the ways that I can right now, whether it's cooking or cleaning or whatever, and taking care of the home, and chasing that dream out on those stages at night just doesn't make sense right now. Even though it would be fun, I'm already doing things that it's difficult for her to watch happen because my whole day is free. Here I am today doing a live video. I'm sure she wishes that she could be doing stuff like this or reading things or investing in a new company that she wants to build. She has some wonderfully incredible ideas, folks. And in order to help make that happen, I had to take the pressure off myself of the how and the what as the resistance was released slowly. And like, guys, it's not easy. This Patreon, I just started making videos. And as I started making videos, I started hearing things louder and louder and more clearly within myself. And it was remembering this Patreon thing that I heard about a few years ago. And I'm like, that's it. That's the thing. And like I said, people were coming up to me and in Utah and Costa Rica and different places that I've been traveling to. And like, you're so, even in Canada with my brother, they thought we were they thought we were twins. We really don't look that much alike, but it was funny. And they were like, you're the funny one. And I was like, what? Oh, thanks. Wasn't trying to be funny. But anyway, discovering, and then those little stories come in, the synchronicity start lining up. And then the stories come in for whether they're online or even you're witnessing someone in the distance talking about something, you're hearing these things. And I saw another comic online post something about a friend of his who's a comedian that has a Patreon, and what his goal was through Patreon. I'm like, I have to look back into this. Like, this is it. And so the Patreon platform, for those of you that are not aware, is this beautiful place where you can go and post your art, your comedy, your music, whatever it is. There's so many different mediums out. Whatever you're creating is a platform for creators. And there's no censorship. You could put whatever, you could say whatever you want, do whatever you want. And in the world of whatever the F YouTube is doing right now, right? And oh, you're going to come after me for saying something right now? Whatever. Tired of being quiet. Like, I love you, YouTube. I love you and thank you. That's where my comedy channel is. Please make some adjustments. Stop taking things down. It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to want to talk about something one day and not feel like they're going to take my whole channel down or whatever. So, that was another reason for gravitating toward Patreon, was because look, man, I can't get in front of people, get on stage, and it happens right now. I'm not as free flowing as I'd like to be yet with my words, with my comedy or anything, because I feel so censored right now. It's just what's happening in the world. People say things and they end up, gone. People, post the wrong things and they end up missing, or they committed suicide. Some of them probably did, and my hearts go out to them and their families. Some of them did not. Whatever. Another day, another conversation. So Patreon. Coming back full circle to Patreon, many creators offer tiered incentives. So you could support someone for $1, $5, $10, $50, and it's like a Kickstarter too. They say, oh, at $50 you get this. At $100, I love you even more, and you get this. And I'm not making fun of anybody. It's just that whole tier system didn't work for me. Sounded like a lot of work, and a lot of very specific work too. And I'm not afraid of work, but I wanted the focus to be on making content and free flowing, and let the artistic expression just come out without obligation and this and that. Like it just, there's always a dedication, obligation to the audience, but the tier thing just seemed like a lot. And I've come to find out from other people that have either explored and tried it out on their own for their own bands or individual artistic endeavors, whatever, that it was a lot of work. And I was like, well, I don't think it has to be a lot of work. And Patreon necessarily doesn't like the way that I'm doing things. Sorry, Patreon. I love you, but and the way I'm doing things is I'm asking everyone for $1. Just $1. If you want to give $5 and I can't convince you otherwise, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate your generosity. But I'm asking everyone for just $1. And the reason is because it's $1, and it's not devaluing, what I feel like I'm worth, or, and some really precious people have said, John, why would you do that? Why would you limit yourself? Because my vision is like a no-tiered system of everyone gets the same content. That's it. And, maybe Bob over here can afford $100 a month. Bob's balling and Bob's doing well in life, and that's great. But, Joe over here, Joe can only afford barely the $1. And people, well, everyone could afford $1. No, everyone can't afford $1. A lot of us have been in the red or in the zeros for a while, and $1 buys a can of food. Like, I have been there. I know. So this is why I understand the value of a $1 pledge. And if Joe can give $1, Bob can give $1. I tell Bob, hey man, go give 99 other dollars to, spread it out. There are other patrons, creators, and, build your portfolio of support. That's a beautiful thing. I just want to do the $1, because I also feel like people aren't going to miss that $1. Maybe after 3 months they're like, this guy's journey to funny is taking way too damn long. Like, you better speed it up, Mr. Pepe. Otherwise I'm pulling my $1 back. I feel like the $1, it won't be too missed. Maybe for some people it will, because again, of the heaviness of the $1 in certain situations. However, for the most part, I think $1 is not a big ask. It's not a big reach or a huge commitment. And I feel like what I'm going to be offering every month, even if I just do one video a month, and that's probably never going to happen, unless something crazy is going on in my world, physically, emotionally, or whatever. And I'll make my part and make up for it. But even, one video a month, I mean, I think my time and what I give is worth $1. I mean, and so if I can make this, I say if, and then I catch myself, when I make this make sense to more and more and more and more people, it's going to be a really, really neat thing to watch, because, I started with one, and you know who you are. Then it went to the second person. I'm like, these people really, they care about me. They're like, go get him, John. And me, I'm thinking like, they're like, that poor bastard. He's 10,000 is a long way to go. But that's me, projecting. They were probably like, I really love this guy, and I believe in him and want to support him. So not taking away from two of you who know who you are. But there's also 11 more behind you now. And hearts to all of you and those of you considering, because that makes the 10,000 possible, man. And sitting on that table at Costa Rica, man, I was like, how the hell? I don't want to go work for someone. I don't want to do a job with a company that's not going to value me. And I don't want to sell something for someone else. I want to create something, but I have no money. What can I do? What can I do? And then this beautiful thing, this vision, this alignment, all of this just keeps happening and making sense. And, you think you get to 46 years old and you've seen it all, you've done it all. And like, you throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care. And then you find it and it feels good. And look, man, at 13 patrons now, and some of you have donated more than $1. So it's over $20 a month already, just in putting it out there and making it happen. And that, to me, is electrifying. So let me take a break about the Patreon and preaching on that subject and go over here to the column over here with, oh my gosh, only down to one person watching. See, I knew that was going to happen because I get so long-winded. But thanks to those of you that have joined. And if you do come back, thank you for joining originally and for coming back to seeing, what else to talk about. So this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be an event. I call it the John with a J-a-thon. And I'm going to talk about all this stuff. So all over again. So maybe it'll come out more flowy, and I'll be less reserved, catching my words, making sure I don't offend or get put on a list or shadow banned from Facebook or hunted down by the mercenary dogs of YouTube or whatever. It's a world of shit right now in so many places. But my focus is on this. And I've been very silent in this pandemic and this period of whatever names you want to put on it, because not for cowardice reasons, but for reasons of it didn't make sense to me to just add to the fire. My focus was to create and to be and to go in and to listen to what made sense and what makes sense for me. And I do watch videos from this side and videos from that side about masks and not masks and this and that. And I know what makes sense for me. I'm not here to talk about that with anybody today, but my focus as far as social media is concerned has been about the journey to funny and working on what feels good here and whatever life returns to, whenever it returns to, whatever it is, and now and will be forever and ever, amen, whatever, I don't know. But for me, I'm going to keep being an artist, because any world that we live in and any way that life is going to be or supposed to be, we're going to need some funny. And I enjoy being funny, and I enjoy art and writing and collaborating. Gosh, I really love working with people. And that's been the saddest part of this part of the journey is doing it all alone. But I know eventually I'll start attracting those people and those projects and those things as I do this more and more. And I am thrilled about that. Okay. You're not just only funny, though. Many parts, playful and serious. Thank you, Kayla. That's very sweet. Patreon is such a great thing. Check it out, guys, and support John. I unfortunately need to go. See you on Sunday. Oh, yay. I'm going to go over there and heart that. I heart all the comments. Excuse me. Ooh, chaga. I heart all the comments, but I'm just taking time out to heart that one because I have a moment here because it looks like no one's on. Woo! So while nobody is on, my gosh, I forgot to extend the pinky, but it tasted just as good as with the pinky extended. I think maybe the pinky extended gives it another energetic level, but does not necessarily add to the taste. I'll experiment with that. Oh, no, I was wrong. When you extend the pinky, the taste changes. Everything changes. It's great. You might even get a cat hair in there. So someone has jumped on. Welcome to the party, whoever you are, someone. At one point, we had up to 5 attendees, and it was rocking in here. As you can see, the comment section was on fire. So if you have any questions, compliments, complaints, or concerns, please, you're gone. All right. Well, welcome back later if you come back later. I wish I could see who these people are. I know sometimes I'm terrified to jump on a live broadcast because maybe I don't want to be seen, or maybe the person hosting it, if they see me jump on, it'll irritate them, or they'll have a question for me. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I've accidentally hit someone's live before. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to be on here. I'm off. And maybe it's an X or something like that for some of you out there, and you're just like, oh look, she's hosting a live. Oh my God, I'm in the live. Let me get off. And I'm working on some bits right now about that, sensitivities of phone and accidental emojis and stuff like that. Because for me, that's, my gosh, that is terrifying. My phone is really, really not fancy, but for some reason, super sensitive. And I'll be scrolling through Messenger or something like that. I'll even be trying to look through something that's like a really, really old message from someone a long time ago. Like, I wonder what that person said or what that link was from a year ago. And then you're scrolling, and then accidentally, a sad emoji pops up on that comment from a year and a half ago, and you're like, no. And then you're hitting it again, it turns into a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then it's a scene. And you're like, what do I have to do to just shut this off and end this part of my life? Like, and sometimes the phone cooperates, sometimes it doesn't. But someone on the other end is going, someone still likes me, or whatever, whoever it is, or whatever your paradigm was. One person on, whoever you are, because I can't see it based on my machine and my settings or whatever. Scrolling up, scrolling down. Welcome. If you have a question or a comment, want me to work on something funny, have some challenges, questions about Patreon, the journey to funny, let me know. So what else? So $1. Oh, back to Patreon. $1 a month. $1 a month times 10,000 people a month. We only have 9,988 to go. So chipping away. And I've just started and haven't had that cat attack my face viral video yet. So when that happens, who knows? I have done TikTok. I've made one TikTok video. For those of you that have not seen it, it is of Mingus the monkey, who will be making an appearance on Sunday. I feel everyone's dancing, and there's I love dancing. I love dancing. And I thought I was going to start the TikTok channel doing like dad dances, I was going to call it, like hashtag dad dances, make a thing, go viral, whatever. But really just to drive traffic to the YouTube channel and then Patreon. But as I was attempting to do what I used to call the lawnmower, which is a dance that I invented a long time ago. I mean, you only have 15 seconds, and I'm doing this thing, and it really just was a moment of clarity of how out of shape I am. That's to repeat that, how out of shape I truly am. I was huffing and puffing after a 15-second, like, it's a sneak preview of the lawnmower. It's like you stop, type of thing. But it goes really low to the floor, and then you push up and pop. It's fun. It's funny, and I call it a dad dance because I'm a dad, and it's not the sprinkler. I have a version of that, though. I think it's funny. Again, there's going to be a whole TikTok channel dedicated to that. But I was like, who would probably be funnier and would probably not have a myocardial infarction during this process? It would be Mingus the monkey. And then maybe some other stuffed animals, or if I get puppets would be fun. But everyone's doing their dances, and really cool people are doing the dances. And I don't really see anyone using puppets or stuffed animals, so maybe that ends up being my thing. Let's see. Patreon, 10,000 people. So $10,000 a month. I did, and I'm sure along the way, I'll create some other tiered incentives, but it'll be for the entire group, I think. Like a shave. When we hit 1,000, I'll shave my head, or, I'll go perform at an open mic, even though I really don't want to, or by then I probably will. I don't know. Or I'll go do this, or I'll host this event here. But at 10,000, my dedication is to host a free concert for those 10,000 people from around the world, and get plenty of advance notice. Pick a perfect venue. All you got to do is show up. There'll be tickets, but it'll all be free. And yeah, it'll be my thank you to this incredible audience of people that have, pitched in $1 a month for however long it takes to get there. But it's such a clear vision for me. And so many people have offered so much great feedback as far as the journey to funny is concerned so far. And that's been so uplifting. Like, I see you on stage, man. Dude, you could totally do stand up. And I see this happening for you. And that's what's really been magical for me, is I see it for the first time in my life. I see it, and I really believe it. I feel, that's the most important thing, I feel this concert all around me. And every day I think about it, man. And I think that's pulling me closer and closer to that manifestation, because I'm not bulldozing or saying things and, falsely, positively pumping myself up and all that spiritual bypassing nonsense. I'm really feeling purely into this experience and this vision of being surrounded by all these incredible, people that are all only pledging $1 a month. Folks, that's $1 a month, only $1 a month. And you could be a pit $1. But yeah, I don't know where I started looking at venues last night too. Just, how much does it cost to rent out the Amway Center? I don't know. Some things said like $65,000 or whatever. I don't care. Look, man, if I'm making, $10,000 a month just making comedy online, like, come on, man, like $65,000, whatever. Like, okay, let's do it. It may take a few months to put it all together, whatever, but my pledge is to do, and I don't know if it'd be the Amway Center, because I think their capacity is it must be like 30s or 40,000. I don't know. And that's probably too big, but I was like, there's got to be a perfect venue, sound, site, parking, everything, just amenities that would be so awesome as a gift to give back to all these wonderful people in this new community that we're co-creating together. And so it lights me on fire. It breathes so much into every part of my body that every day just makes me want to create more and more. And the creativity threads that were so tight for so long have really loosened up, and I can see more. I can The avenues are just opening up all around, and the notebooks are filling up, and it's a good time for the first time in a long time. So yeah, there's that. Any other questions over here? I'll probably do this for an hour, so maybe another 15 minutes. The Journey to Funny. The Journey to Funny is currently on YouTube, and there's 13 episodes. And I decided every 10th episode I would do like an update of what's going on. So there's one of those in there. There's one episode. There's one episode about my father that somehow, surprisingly, my mother saw. She didn't care for it very much. Sorry, Mom. But that experience right there just taught me a lot too, about how to talk about certain things when it comes to family, and, how to share your truth, but be respectful, and maybe certain things just bury in the notebook for a while. But I don't know. We'll see. But that leads me not to abandon that subject, but something more on the forefront of my mind which has been challenging for me, is, I watched these prolific comics as kids, the George Carlins, the Robin Williams, the Eddie Murphy. Those are my top three. Those are the ones that just set my psyche. I've used fire a lot during this video, but really just set my soul on fire. Those three. Watching Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, and George Carlin just twisted me up in a way I was like, that is beautiful. That's what I want my life to be, something like that. Just that expression. And then the others, there's so many others that were just fearless. Say anything. I'm like, man, what a great job. You can go up on stage and say whatever the fuck you want to say, and get paid for it. That's great. But nowadays, it's starting to feel like not so much. Offending this group, offending that group, and comics will come and they'll say, they're just jokes, man. They're just jokes. And I'd never want to take away power from any comic, or the art, or that freedom, the beauty of what comedians do on many different levels in so many various arenas. But for me personally, I've been questioning, can I say whatever I want? Can I talk about whatever group I want and just dismiss it as it's just jokes? That's what I feel. I don't know if I've gotten into that gear yet. And I'm not condemning people that do that. And I'm not, I watched the Chappelle thing recently and then put my thoughts online, and a lot of people jumped on and started talking about how they felt about it. And it was very varying. And he's a genius. He's had a great career and won very prestigious awards, and is celebrated within the comedy community and around the world in so many different lights. But this one that I was watching, I was like, did he go too far? Or it just wasn't funny to me. And I'm like, but I'm not trying to judge him. Trying to apply it to myself and where I'm at. I'm like, can I do that? Not that I want to copy him, but can I give myself permission to just be free and say fuck it like Dave did, and say, I want to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about this. What are you going to do about it? Do I want to take a different approach? Do I want to carve a different niche? Do I want to start a new revolution in comedy? Not damning anything of the past, but opening new pathways into the future. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of pressure and a lot of work, but we'll see. We'll see. So it's a struggle though, because I have two not catchphrases, that's the wrong word. Two things that catch me up when I'm doing a recording, and that's, I say the phrase, and so. And there may be one or two more that I'm unaware of right now, but those two I'm very aware of. I say, and so. I'm sure I'm an ummer here and there. But when I do that, it's not because I'm lacking a funny thought or where I'm at in the story or how to transition it. It's a quick moment of checking and going, can I say that? Nope, you better hit the Rolodex in there and find something up. Boom. And so that's when that kicks in. And it gives me a moment and then I go, and I don't like that, man, because it's there. It's already there. And it's here. It's definitely here, but it gets caught up in this process machine of, can you do that? The internet's a different place now, and people get shot, and do I want to open up the gates of the haters and the swarms of trolls to press upon me? No, I don't. But at the same time, that's one aspect. The other aspect is I don't care and I don't give a fuck anymore. Let's do this thing. And so, yeah, it's part of the journey of funny. Stepping in to who you are, stepping into your power, not being a dick, but doing your thing and doing it because it feels good for you. You're not out to hurt other people, hate other people, but you're out to make people laugh, not at the expense of other people or other groups. I'm not talking for other comics, I'm talking for myself. So just figuring it all out. In the past, when I'm watching other people, I'm like, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's not funny. I would do this. I would do that. But now I'm doing it, and it's a whole new thing, brothers and sisters. So just. In these comments or after this, I'll post the link to the Patreon page. I'll post the link to the event on Sunday. I will post some other stuff, links or whatever, to the YouTube channel. All right. And 9 more minutes. What else can I talk about? How about a sip of chaga and yerba mate again? Get up so I can get down. I know when I watch this back, I'll be like, man, you started talking about this and you didn't finish your train of thought. All right. Well, that happens. So the concert, 10,000 people, no tears, TIERS. Though there'll be plenty of tears, and I'll gladly show them. I think they're a sign of strength, not weakness. Yeah, so there's 21 videos on Patreon. Oh yeah, this is what you talk about. So on YouTube, just have 13 videos. Patreon, there's 21 because I want to give the Patreon community their exclusive, feel. That's my special give back, is like, I'm going to give you the stuff that I'm not posting on YouTube. So in Patreon, there's bloopers, there's practice reels, it's weird how this works. There's bonus footage, things that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to, things I'm working on, whatever. And eventually there'll be other things specifically, like I might not have made those things specifically for Patreon and that community, but I was like, oh, I'm not going to delete this. And let me give them even more rawness of the part of the journey, more transparency into what this really is and how this happens. And I think the bloopers are funny. There's not many yet, but they're there. I'll be using that as a platform to write, to get back into writing more. So maybe blog a little bit, skits or whatever, maybe some podcasts with some friends. So, and again, leaving it wide open to ideas, suggestions, critiques. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. So if any of you patrons, non-patrons, at any point are like, oh, I've seen this person, this creator do this on Patreon, would you ever consider doing that? Maybe. Let me know. But it's neat too, because it holds me accountable to, if I just have the YouTube channel, Put a video out there whenever I want. What happens, happens. But with Patreon, it's like, wow, I have this dedicated audience. I need to produce something. They're waiting for, what's next. So that's neat. And it's not a pressure. It's a really invigorating nudge. Just knowing that it's like you're about to walk on stage and there's that audience and they're like, hey, we came for you. So I love that element of it too. And when I made the Patreon page and there was no patrons, it was, but that's the way anything starts. It's quite sad. And there are open mics like that where it's just you and the barista, or you in a room full of comics waiting to get their time. And that's a tough audience, but enlivening and inspiring and intriguing nonetheless. I've been in those audiences. Funny story about that, but I'll save that for Sunday. I think that'll be fun on Sunday. As an audience member, one time I took a very different approach to being a participant. Wasn't a heckler, but what I did, we'll wait till Sunday. So always leave them wanting more, right? Is that the quote? Ringling, the guy from Ringling? I think he was the original person that said that. Don't know. But we got another 4 minutes. Slowly wind down here. Anyone that's watching has a question, compliment, complaint, or concern, please let me know. Gotten a lot of great encouragement. Thank you. Love. High fives. Gotta miss hugs. I'll finally get to hug my daughter this weekend. It's been months. I look forward to that. But to everybody, boundless gratitude for your comments, for your patronage, for everything, for tolerating my barrage of messages, posts, promotions. It's just me right now. It's a one-man team with a really, really bad haircut that's eventually going to, grow in and look slick. I have a vision. I really do. It's all gonna blend. I had a blender, but I don't know how to blend. So I just took the guard off and just shaved, right? Just shaved. It'll be fine. So yes, supreme thanks to everybody. Look, I can't say this enough though. Sharing posts is so easy, but it may not seem like a big deal, but it's a huge deal. Liking a post is equally as powerful, because that's just the way that Facebook and these platforms work. Like the stuff from your friends, your family are not going to be seen unless there's engagement, comments, even if you just want to put a little unicorn sticker, smiley face. Those interactions help breathe life to these posts, to all the offerings of your friends that you're like, oh, that's really cool. I hope they do well. There's that thumbs up. Like it, subscribe it, share it, promote their event. It takes seconds. Just share. It'll make your timeline look like you care. Like, wow, this guy's really into promoting the arts. He loves his friends and family. He shares this event. He does that. And lo and behold, somebody might take interest in what you're sharing. Imagine that. Yeah, it tickles me so much when someone does that. I try to do it as much as I can for as many people as I can. When something strikes me, when there's a local musician playing out, even though everyone in this town knows what's happening on Wednesday night at Little Indies, I'm going to share that post because it's a beautiful event. Everybody in town knows what's happening Tuesday nights at Dandelion. But I'm going to share that event, you know, when I see it. I don't share it every week. And, let me dial it back a little bit here. But share those events. If you can't attend, we can't attend everything. Like it. Just like it. Send a comment. Great job, Sean. Way to keep doing the thing that you're doing. We see you out here. We appreciate you. Can't be there this week, but rock on, brother. I can't say it enough. Just yeah. And $1 a month to become a patron. That's it. And that's, I've been sending my messages, and they're long messages. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding. If it's bothering you, please let me know. If you'd like to learn more, please let me know. And what else I got? I think that's enough, man. I think good to golden. So yeah, took it to an hour and 1 minute. So on that note, thank you for joining. Thank you for playing. Wow, 3 people just jumped on. So I'll stay on for a few more seconds or minutes. If those of you that just joined hadn't had an opportunity to see all the hour up until this point and have a few questions about the journey to funny or Patreon, I'm here, or life in general. Welcome. As you can see, either that way or that way, depending on what the camera is doing to me, there are comments. Please feel free to join in. Down to 2. When we go to 0, I'll just sign out. How about that? So I'll take it for a little longer, a little bit of a ride. What else can I talk about on the journey to funny? I'm exploring a bit right now about urinals. For those of you in the know, mostly in I would say probably the male side of the equation, urinals have changed over the years. For those of you as old as I have seen an evolution in urinals. And I'm exploring why some of them right now are positioned so high on the wall. So I'm trying to find the comedy in that, because to me it's hysterical and stressing when I walk into a men's room. Like, I'm not fucking Shaquille O'Neal, man. And so I always find myself in the little kiddie urinal at the end of the row of 10 urinals. And even if they're all unoccupied, I'm in that one, because it just doesn't physically make sense for me to like pee upward toward the ceiling. So I don't know if my hips are really low. I haven't really looked in the mirror enough or stared at other guys, because you definitely don't want to do that in the restroom. But just in general, like, is your waist, is your groin situation like much higher? Let's look at someone that's 5'11" and a half like I am. Like, are you struggling with this Shaq urinal like I am? I don't know. But I will find the comedy in it, because I think it's kind of funny, because urinals used to be different. You used to walk in and just pee on a wall. It was like a wall of porcelain. There were no like individual, it was like a trough. It was great for when you were drinking. You didn't have to like worry about aim or peeing on someone else's foot or something. There were, a lot of them didn't even have like little dividers and stuff. Anyway, I got to explore that. My point is I'm open to not just being the storyteller. I love telling stories, but those videos are long. So if I'm just talking about a urinal or about accidental emojis, I feel like I can condense that to 3 minutes. So that's the challenge for me right now. Primarily the reason why I signed up for TikTok too. So I was like, this is a really good challenge for me to do something in 15 seconds or under 60 seconds. I think those are the 2 options. You can do either a 15-second or 60-second recording and get a laugh. All right, let me step into this arena and see how I fare. Yes, I've started with a monkey stuffed animal, but eventually maybe it'll be me. Hmm. Looking forward to getting new equipment. I think that will be very liberating. This is a very comfortable chair and it's a neat little backdrop and everything. But I think standing up and getting that energy and being able to be animated and let the blood pump and flow differently. And I mean, I like to boogie. So I think that'll be great. I need to do the research actually on a call in 5 minutes from now, where I'm going to find out a little bit more about what the best cameras are and microphones and all that stuff. But I think that's what's really kind of neat about this whole thing too, is starting with nothing, I don't want to say nothing, but starting with the bare minimal and no fancy equipment, and we'll see the steps that it takes and where it goes and how this turns into something else and how this turns into getting up and not being someone else, but feeling into that new artist that's bubbling inside. And yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. And if you've made it to this part of the video, well, thank you for being here. That's an hour of but an exercise that I need to do more and more so I can condense my thoughts and allow myself to be more and more free to just say what I want to say, get on, get off. I could have probably shared all of this in 10 minutes, but for me right now, it takes an hour as I learn and as I grow. So thanks. I would keep talking, especially because there's currently one viewer out there, like I promised, but I do have to jump on another call. So deuces, toodles. So hard to say goodbye. Okay, where do I end this thing? How do I do this? Oh, there's a giant red button that says end live video. It's really not that difficult, folks. All right, I bid you farewell till we dance again. And I think you have to confirm it like that.